Hello Fabian. Okay, about the deadlines, let me show first with the cases. Remember that you have a case, this one for example. This case may be for the filing of this trademark or whatever action that you need to perform. Maybe it may be the maintenance case, trademark maintenance or whatever. It depends of your needs. You have two types of reminders here. Which one is the reminders defined predefined into your firm settings, and you can create the reminders for this trademark, for the trademark involved into the case. The logic to select it is this one. The system search by the trademark linked here with the role on, and check then the rules that you have defined into your deadline template. It sounds a bit complicated, but it is not. Let me explain you. When you go to your setup, my internet is a bit slow, sorry. Okay, it is. You have here this setting. It is named deadline. You can define different definitions of what do you consider a deadline. For example, for the difference registry. Let's find the UK. Yes. This one, for example, we have here one definition of what is a deadline on the UK. This is a type of deadline and special type for trademark renewals. You can define a name, and then you define the settings for your different for the concept for the deadline itself. I mean, we are saying here, for example, the deadline date is defined for is created 10 years after the application date, when the registry is the UK IPO. This logic is the one that defines when is the deadline date. Then you can create reminders for this deadline. One is the same day, the second is 2 weeks before, a month before, 3 or 6, or whatever you think is useful for your firm. For example, if we want 4 months until renewal, you have to enter this way, and 4 months before the deadline date. Remember that the deadline date is defined here with this logic, and then you have reminders for this one. So if you click on save, now you have the UK deadline definition in this way. So if we go back to the case and then we click here and add register deadline, the system is going to search by the linked trademark. In this case, the trademark is for the UK, and the application date is this one. So the system is going to take that data to calculate the date, the deadline date. This is why it is showing this here. And then you can select it. So this is 10 years after the application date. In this way, you create this deadline with all these reminders, and the person responsible for this one is going to be Jessica Whitfield. You can delete it, And let me show you that this is not the only option. You can also define other deadlines for your registry. Let me show you. For example, test deadline. It's maybe, I don't know, 1 month before the one more after the status date. For example, when the registry is the UK. And then maybe you want just 2 remainder. Remainder 1, it's may say 1 day before the deadline dates, and the remainder 2. It is 2 days before the deadline date. When you create this rule, this setting, you can go back to the case and you will have here another option, the test deadline. It is saying me that to obtain the due date, we need a status date. And probably this trademark doesn't have the status date. It doesn't have. So we can just add one for our test and then select the second deadline. And this is, now we have a test deadline for the 16th of April this year with 2 reminders, reminder 1 and reminder 2. And about what data you are including into the reminders, you can define it in the definition of the deadline, instead of just saying instead of just saying 1 reminder, you can change it. For example, saying tomorrow you have to test the trademark, and it is 1 day before the deadline. And this way, the new reminders created, not the already existing, the new one will have this text into the reminder body. Tomorrow you have to test the reminder, and the 15th of April is reminder new. The other option available are these tasks. The tasks are very similar to the deadlines, but theoretically with not the same priority. So maybe you want to call the trademark owner and you want to ask about details to be filled. You are going to be the responsible, and this is the due date. This type of task may have or not extra reminders, so it is a bit easy to create, and then you have it. If you want, you can modify them. For example, you can change the contents of this and the title also, the date of course, and the reminders. You can also add a new reminder, not, I don't know, in an extra reminder. You are going to be responsible. You can remark it or not. I will show you why it is. Here is the extra data for the reminder. And if you are the responsible, but you can also share this email with other person. I don't know, with Nick, for example. So you can save it, and now you have the task and 2 reminders for this task. This way you can includes all the extra data here in the notice, and it will be more descriptive about what you have to do. And this remark here, let me show you what is it. It is just a feature to remark or to highlight a reminder here inside the docketing. You can search, for example, we can filter in this case all the reminders for the case. It was FireMates, right? I don't remember which one. I think this. Yes. And you can remark the extra reminder here in this way with a vault, because maybe this is important or whatever. Remember that it is also available to modify from here. It is the same registry, the same record from the case. And when you unset the remark or highlight, maybe I will change the name of it, maybe it's more descriptive, you will see that it is not anymore in bold. Here in the docketing, we put in bold the reminders that have the same data of the final action. This docketing is a list of all your reminders with the final action. Yes, that's the way how you can include more detail in your reminders. Of course, there is another advanced feature in your setup into the communications templates option, where you can define how the communications will look when you send it from the email. You select from here the type of communications, and then you can modify it here, modifying the logo, the details available, and other type of things. But that is a bit more advanced feature. Maybe we can discuss it in another video. Okay, Fabian, thank you very much for listening to me. Bye bye.